Бумбокс это, конечно, круто, но он немножко мешает, отвлекает. Так, это не империя, эмпатия, авторитет. Нет. Так, возьмем кусачки. Пожарный. Так, мыслей опять понадавали каких-то с 2 ловика. Окей, ясно. Спросите Классье об убитом. Может сейчас о нем, но вам нужны конкретные данные. Рост, совершенно и так далее. С ним позже, когда она придет в себя. Окей. Ну, если смотреть так на эту дверь, которая там находится, то она, по идее, должна ввести куда-то... Ну, главное, меню. Или сюда, или туда. Ким, давай завалимся в твой номер. Так, на всякий пожарный. Кто знает, что мы там можем сделать. Ладно, пойдем добросим. Так, мужичок, у тебя там какая-то еще одна закрытая дверь есть. Ты об этом знаешь?
Can I help you?
Так, еще кое-что.
Another thing. Great. I love those.
А, ладно.
Why? No, fuck it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know why these degenerates do what they do. I thought we had one good guest in the building.
Есть.
Yeah, well, she's not a guest, is she?
What? Did someone mention my name?
We were just paying you a compliment. And finding out a degenerate from room 3 nicked the phone line. Everything is okay here. Good thing that guest pays for her stuff on time. I'll forward her the bill and be done with it. Was there anything else?
А дверь
Yes.
на крыше как бы нет? Нельзя с ним поговорить на эту тему? Ну ладно. Так, ну что, Тит, у меня к тебе еще пара претензий.
I've got nothing to say to you.
Всё, ну и не надо.
The clowns are still hanging around. What is it now?
Чего теперь? Так, давай снова поговорим о жертве.
Again? Seriously, man. Fine. Yeah.
Хотя тут тоже
Whatever.
нечего. Так, Классье утверждает, что ее не насиловали.
Fuck! I knew that fucking whore couldn't be trusted.
For the record, Titus Hardy did not explicitly specify the victim as a whore, nor did he say anything about trusting her.
Это уже нам решать, что записывать.
Oh, shut up and stay out of this, Liz. He raped her. He was out of his fucking mind. You have no idea.
She's just in denial, asshole. You don't understand the traumatic experience. She's shutting down, and she doesn't fucking trust you.
Yeah, she's crazy, you know. A crazy bitch. You know the type. She's fucked up.
Угу. Так, она рассказала мне правду. Так, она была полностью вменяемой.
She wasn't raped. The witnesses' statements were very clear.
Lawman, I'm at the end of my goddamn rope with you. I fucking told you not to push her. And you went and pushed her. I am gonna fucking...
Titus Hardy!
Success. Titus backs off. Fists down, everybody.
Everard personally sent me to take care of this. If this goes south, we'll all be in the shit. But you, Titus Hardy, are going to be buried. Am I understood?
Надо же. Хоть крупица мозга у нее появилась.
The room is so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The rest of the cafeteria has gone quiet, too. Someone has to rush in to break the tension. The second in command.
Look, Copper. We know that that fuck was a rapist and a killer. We got him confessing to it on tape.
У нас есть запись. У меня есть бумбокс, можем проиграть.
Show it to him, T. What's the harm, right?
Here, jerkwad, listen to this shit. And then come back and tell me the soldier of the apocalypse was an innocent man.
This is their last play, this tape. Their story is in tatters, a mess. It might be nice to listen to, but at this point, you don't need to.
Так. Откуда у вас?
You think we go into this shit deaf and dumb? You RCM aren't the only ones who know how to bug people. There's no university degree for that.
То есть вы повесили на них жучки? Как?
We have machines. We're in logistics. How do you think a harbor works? It's advanced stuff.
Understood?
Понятно.
You've listened in on their communications. How long?
Since way before their chief started taking swing lessons.
Things got nice and quiet
И кто из вас
after that.
занимается радиотехникой?
It's not advanced. You just hold up in a coop all day, writing down what they say. It gets hot as hell in there.
Не та ли это комната?
Don't put yourself down, Angus. It's important work.
Yeah, man. You're like a radio genius or something. Those notes are some in-depth stuff. Indexes and shit.
И что на пленке?
What's on it? We call it the door gun a mega mix. You'll know why. Won't you
Okay.
listen to it?
Что мне делать до записи? Вы мне налгали.
You don't care about evidence. The fuck are you a cop for, then?
Pigs, T. They don't care about getting the truth. They care about getting convictions.
I won't be on your bulletin board. If you don't listen to the tape, we got nothing to talk about.
Где мне?
I'm sure we can find a tape player.
Да он у меня есть. Курага, я же его купил на твоих глазах за 12 рублей.
Where can I listen to this? Why don't you try shoving it up your ass, genius?
Как ты меня бесишь.
Yeah, play it with your ass, cocksucker.
I'm sure we can find a tape player. It's not a
У
problem.
меня все на моей... Ким, у меня все схвачено.
Your room had one. Or maybe it's too broken.
Don't forget your tape, lawman. Compliments of Titus Hardy.
Спасибо.
You do that. Oh, and keep it. Maybe you'll need a reminder of human ugliness someday.
Угу. Канай отсюда. Упырь. Сейчас прослушаем прямо перед твоим лицом. Уродец. Так. Где она? Взаимодействовать. Вот. Нет, наверное, сначала надо взять бумбокс. Там уже лучшие хиты авиастрелка.
The porter reel is just what you needed. The reels attach to the apparatus with a satisfying click. The tape is rooted behind the magnetic reader.
Давай, слушаем. Так.
This isn't Revachol. This is a fucking village. I can almost see the elephants.
И?
The harbor. That's the son of a Kvalson crane.
Окей. Запиши.
When this shit is done, I'm gonna tear that place up. Soldier of the Apocalypse style. Kill shit. Dogs and chickens too. Gonna run a room, Cordy. A real nice one. I don't give a shit. I'm fucking done. I'm done mentally. I'll fucking do them all in. Rape that disco cunt on the counter. You know, the dance a whore upstairs. Do it Kohoi style. Never did get that taste out of my mouth.
The lieutenant presses the button marked Arete on your porter reel. The tape stops spinning.
Так, что было в самом конце? Тишина?
End of recording.
Понятно. Что
It
думаешь?
seemed authentic enough. Probably recorded off the shortwave, then edited to seem more incriminating. He sounded like he was on patrol around the harbor walls.
Так, а еще он, кажется, был под шофе, но ведь он сказал, что собирается это сделать. Так,
Still,
все же.
There's more going on here than we know.
Так,
it seemed authentic enough.
ведь он сам сказал.
Indeed, but
There's more going on here than we know.
Понятно. Чтобы не ткнул, мне будет говорить, что не все знаем. Кто этот
one
Корти?
of the other mercenaries, I think. The one he was talking to. A friend of his.
Возможно. Кто
A village on the Samaran Isola, in South Safri. Grad committed war crimes there, the kind of thing he talks about.
Думаешь, он
Who
там был?
knows? Maybe the tattoos would have an answer. Or maybe Kohoi is just merc talk for atrocity, slaughter. I think we've got a few more questions for class here, don't you? This seems to contradict her testimony, at least to some degree.
As you take out the tape, the boombox tunes it.
Что ж, это было весьма и весьма познавательно. Тогда я, возможно, не буду его убирать, пускай лежит у меня в руке. Лучше хитрый. Погодите с классе. Так, подожди. А я после загрузки, когда я выбил себе мозги, с тобой не разговаривал?
I am not.
You could be, Liz.
Похоже, не
Even
разговаривал.
a mod?
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Debutante International. The cold look in her eyes speaks louder than...
И не надо. Капризная какая. Так, ладно. Побежали обратно. Как раз что загрузки вот эти вот немножко уже поднадоели, ну, в принципе, так же все. Так, Классе, что-то тут не сходится.
I was just thinking, what a nice day for questions pertaining to a murder investigation. Yeah?
Так, вы собрали какую
Thank you.
коллекцию?
I've put a lot of time and effort into it.
Technically, possession of narcotics is legal in Revachol, but you should still reprimand her.
Наркомания не точно, что ли, родится?
What did you say?
Лучше не говорил.
Oh my god. Now it's turning into narcomania. It's got to be serious if it's 2 words. I'm sorry.
Еще в вашей коллекции есть... есть накро.
Comes in handy when you've done too many opioids.
Is that something that happens to you often, miss?
Better safe than sorry.
Ну да. Еще он есть прептит.
Oh yes. One of my favorites. It cures many ailments.
Например?
Like not being able to stay up for 36 hours. Not being happy. It cures those ailments. It's just a merit speed molecule, basically.
Так, лучше не говорите про то, что у меня что-то там спер.
Very funky.
Так, куда ведет эта дверь?
I have no idea, officer.
Логично.
All right.
Так, давайте поговорим поподробнее, только назовем домогательство.
Not my favorite topic, but okay.
Здесь ничего нового нету.
How about we, change the subject to something more lighthearted now?
Душесчипательное? Как тебе Тит Харди?
She puts her coffee cup down with a soft ring as the porcelain meets the metal table.
Did he? I never said he was a good man, or that he had good intentions. Only that he was never bad to me. Where did they get this recording exactly?
Понять не...
It's intercepted radio chatter of the deceased, recorded via a de-encryption station. It's authentic enough.
Does he say he's gonna do it Soldier of the Apocalypse style?
Именно так.
Yeah. That was practically his pickup line.
A memory surfaces in her tired neocortex. It's not entirely unpleasant.
Did he say whores a lot? Was he pretty much on the verge of doing it Kohoi style?
Так, про какой
He
точно
wasn't
было?
actually there. He didn't do a tour, or at least didn't tell me he did. Would have been overkill anyway. He lived his own little Kohoi. It wasn't his everything.
О чем тогда такое говорить?
Yes, was he bragging?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure he did all those things. Then integrated them into his idea of normalcy. To keep on living. Until they just sort of turn into his, what's the word I'm looking for?
She's quite observant about the human character, trained to observe even.
Нужно преодолевание стресса.
Running joke. I was gonna say running joke. And it sounds like you didn't even get the good bits. Lely's punchlines got way, way funkier than that. It was like the Seminoles conflict, the Kohoi massacre, and the 36 famine in Yezud all rolled into one person, then cast in Norani ceramic armor, which he wore in bed and in the shower.
Вам не было страшно?
Afraid of what? That tape the Hardy Boys recorded? Your mother probably never told you this, but girls are evil. Had I the physical robustness and social support, I'd be in Kohoi. I would be tearing it up Soldier of the Apocalypse style.
Did he tell you he had actually done any of those things? In Martinez, I mean?
No. We were too busy laying waste to our own nervous systems to direct any of the fury outward. He seemed happy, I guess. At ease. As much as a man like him could be.
What kind of man was he? Before you go, ask for details.
Thank you for clearing that up, miss. Whenever you're ready. I'm interested to hear what Titus Hardy has to say now.
Так,
She takes a very small sip of her coffee and smiles.
Теперь нам о жертве.
Like, for example, his name?
Actually, officer, I didn't know his name. I just called him Lely.
A nickname?
I guess. He came from Lelystad. It's short for that. And it was his army name, apparently. He said his real name wasn't his. I tried to pry it out of him, but it was no use.
Lelystad. That's a good start. We have a few questions you can help us with. A few things a field autopsy alone can't answer.
The young woman cranes her neck, trying to catch a glimpse of the page the lieutenant passed to you. On it is a list of autopsy observations recorded neatly in blue ink. The last missing pieces of a puzzle of flesh.
Такс. Ну, начнем с того, где находится Лилиштадт.
In Oranje, officer. It's, I think municipality is the term. A nowhere town there.
You were almost right, officer. That means his race was occidental, not mondial. I'll update the form.
Так, на классе его вы из Оранжи.
Yes. We were compatriots.
Did that bring you together?
No. He was too old for that. And from another part of Oranjenrek. I didn't even understand his accent. What brought us together wasn't Oranje. It was bad habits.
Sex. Alcohol.
Опять влезла электрохимия, но в какой-то веке с полезным чем-то. Так, сколько ему было
He
лет?
was 42.
42? Are you sure? I would have had him above 50.
He had many scars that made him appear older. But no. We even celebrated his birthday, like, some weeks ago. It was a funny 2 days. He had little reason to lie to me.
Looks like you were right, officer.
Points are good. Have one, you old dog, before we all die.
Тим, я не думал, что мы с тобой участвуем в каком-то соревновании.
It isn't. Police work is a cooperative sport.
Вот и хорошо. Не надо разводить срач между полицейскими участками. Так, какого цвета были
Blue.
глаза?
Light blue. They were like little blue galaxies, you know? It was strange, seeing those eyes in his fucked up face. Pardon the swearing. I do him an injustice. He wasn't ugly. And he had a beautiful, soft voice. Very surprising, what with all the scarring. It was quite something, watching him speak.
He had a combat wound on his chin and mouth.
Yes. Severe. It made him look like half his face was cracking away in some strange smile. That and those eyes.
Ah, yes. His hair, if you can remember.
It was light brown, almost blonde. He darkened it with brilliantine, made oily. Not nice to stroke. I couldn't convince him to leave it alone.
Так, у него была татуировка.
Oh, that. It was a map of his life and the places he visited as a soldier. It was mostly for showing off to chicks, though.
What's that?
How? Imagine him lying in bed. Freakish musculature laid out on the sheets. Scarred, of course. Tattooed. The sheets are dirty for some reason. He's smoking and drinking, of course. And his chest and shoulders and arms are studded with stars. Tens, hundreds of them. Maybe even thousands. And the woman goes like, "What was this, baby?" And he says, That was too hardcore. Don't ask me about that. So she goes, okay, but what's this, baby? And he's like, saw some bad shit there. Killed some loincloths. And so it goes. Star after star. Port after port. Third world country after third world country.
Или вы были на месте этой женщины?
Oh yeah.
Можете вот это рассказать?
No thank you. I've seen enough of him dead. I can tell you what they meant without looking at them.
Okay.
Go on.
He was a blue-eyed boy with thick arms, from a small town. He was also poor, and the government of Oranje needed some people killed, so they turned him into a grotesque killer. He went to Killer Academy in Vredefort. Then he killed some people on the Semenine Islands, and on other islands too. All of the islands. After this, he came to Revachol and got killed himself.
Что ж, интересная
It
история.
is when you're high. It can be very exciting then. You have the tools to deal with it. It's not a very nice story to remember when you're sober. A change of topic?
Да.
All right.
Coolly, gracefully, she pours herself more coffee.
Что ж, вернемся к этим вопросам позже.
Wait, stop. That man, bloated beyond all recognition, was 42?
Да.
Below the damage, the weeks of decomposition, all the swollen indignity of morality. He was 42 years old?
Чего
How
гонишь?
old are you? That's where this is going. 45,000 liters of raw alcohol has left its disfigurements. What lies beneath, you wonder? You could ask either one of them.
Yes. Так. И сколько же, думаю, мне...
Huh. How old do I think you are?
Да.
She's buying time to formulate the best answer.
Это
I don't
60.
know. 40?
Нет, 40.
I was like 9 when OO peaked. That was what, 19 years ago? I liked them when I was 9. You couldn't have liked it when you were 40. Let's say you were 20-something. 25. A good disco age. 25 plus 19 is 44. I'm gonna say you're 44.
Wow.
О. Да, я молодой.
Absolutely. Age is just a number, man.
Особенно если мы сейчас закинем, сейчас придет электрохимия и скажет, если закинешься, братан, то вообще будет четко.
Yes, miss, but for him that number is 56.
Wait. This requires scientific measurements.
Валяй.
To the laboratorium.
В лабораторию. Окей, меня походу оскорбить хотят.
You made the right call there. It feels good.
Чего?
I'm talking about your zero tolerance policy toward the mania of narco. You're in the right there. Powerful stance. Would you like to take it up a notch? Would you like to become an anti-narcomania zealot?
Я чувствую непоколебим. Нет. Надо мной...
Yes, you're pure. Unravaged by narco. Of course, it's pretty obvious you've done a lot of drugs in the past. And will probably do more in the future. But that doesn't matter.
Давай, я
Of
правда.
course not. You've always been anti-narco militant material. You kept her off a dark course with that interjection. Are you ready to save lives?
Давай.
That's good to hear.
Так, опять мыслей понадавали. Генератор до зарождения. Твое лицо выглядит на 58. Тело чувствует на 60. Понятно. Так, минус 2 электрохимия. Если я буду выполнять вот это. Татуировки на теле. Спросите еще кого-нибудь о том, что могут значить татуировки. Привести там опленки. Далее. Так, Так, ну тогда возвращаемся обратно вниз.
Ох уж эти загрузки туда-сюда бегать. Ну ладно, что ж, мы поговорили с Классье и мы готовы поговорить теперь с тобой еще раз. Надеюсь, ты не заставишь меня обратно жать. И да, хочу сказать, что мы послушали твою пленку. Тот еще микс.
The clouds are still hanging around. What is it now?
Что? Я поговорил с классе про запись.
Man,
И... Это начальное показание.
fucker. You're the worst cops in Revachol. I gave you gold on that tape.
Так, клад? Обычная болтовня в курилке. Не доказательство, запись стрёмная, но она ничего не доказывает. И не переубедила классе. Да, там та еще жить, если честно, я ждал, что она произведет впечатление на классе. Тит, она просто посмеялась над записью. А второй вариант...
Dark is when you start a goddamn death rock band. He said he'd rape her. What did she have to say then? Fine by her? This is what people are supposed to be like? Fucking whoop-de-doo.
Так, мне показалось, что эта запись вызвала у нее ностальгию. Мне вот кажется, вот третий вариант это более всего подходит на правду. Так, да, наверное, третий вариант.
Yes. In fact, I think she thought it was a little funny.
Funny? No good goddamn psycho whore.
Seems like they wanted to give Claudia a second chance to play along. She still didn't.
Right. Oh, fucking righty then. I guess it's good then. That fucking...
Please try to control yourself in the presence of visitors, Titus.
Okie dokie. This is just perfect. Just fucking perfect. Any thoughts on this, lawman?
Так, я думаю, ты продумал ложь, но она не подыграла. Может, она не таким ты ее считал, может, она все еще на стадии отрицания. Ну, знаешь, защитный механизм.
I ask for your opinion, not a bedtime story. Tell it to your grandma.
Ну, ее последним шансом действовать по плану.
But she didn't. She knows she can't lie to us, unlike you.
Fantastic. So now, you remember how to do your job. I'm so sick of this piss. We should get something harder in here.
Yeah, guys! We should get a party going tonight!
Why?
Maybe...
Success. They admitted to unlawful collaboration to derail the investigation.
Так, может, она не таким ты ее считал.
Nah. I know her. She's just a girl. In over her head.
Так, так. Ты не в курсе? Она модель, выиграла конкурс.
I knew it. Titus, I knew she was professionally trained by her walk. I told you she was a beauty queen.
Yes, Glenn. I know she's a beauty queen. Everyone can see that.
Sorry.
Sorry. Так, может, она еще в стадии отрицания. Ну, знаешь, типа защитный механизм.
Yeah. Maybe. That is a possibility.
Быдло.
I already told you. We fucking hanged him.
Замечательно, просто вот так. Мы взяли его и повесили.
There's less gusto in his voice now. His men too are growing increasingly silent.
Ой,
Come on,
пожалуйста,
Titus.
такая.
It's been a long day. I'm tired of running back and forth between you. I can see you're tired too. Why don't you just...
You know what? I am tired. I'm tired of you and the whore upstairs. Next time you see her, tell her, Titus said, fuck on!
Вот мне сейчас бежать обратно и говорить ей это?
That lying, scamming. We're done. This is over. Understand? Your little investigation is over.
Еще не все завершено.
Yeah.
On the floor, beer drips out of the can into a small puddle. No one.
What is this quiet funeral shit? What we need is some beers in us. Bartender, 20 beers for the Dock Workers Union.
Интересно, а за чьи гуляют?
Why do we make it 40, huh? Why do we make it 100 beers? You're not loud enough.
100 beers? Now we're talking. Hoppity hop over here, cafeteria manager.
The window might be closing. The more beers they get in them, the less cooperative they will be.
Так, убедить Тита, что им манипулируют. Давайте осмотрим еще раз
Starting from the
помещение.
right, boot size,
Да.
sitting on his right, across at the asymmetric burn on his neck, and
Это я
then
помню.
the emblem on it in the far corner. Standard working size 41 in the middle. In conclusion, exactly.
The fuck is with you, fella?
Так, риторика немыслима. Это белая проверка, конечно. Я бы мог сохраниться и быстренько загрузиться. Но у меня тут всего лишь 3%. Дил Тит по поводу записи. Эврор велел сотрудничать. Ну, как-то все равно малые шансы, тогда пока что не буду. И ушел. Так, интересно, а что окно?
Behind the dockworkers, you see 2, maybe 3 bushes grown into a single thicket over a period of circa 50 years. It takes time for a hedge like that to form.
Так, я бы мог, в принципе... Вот здесь я готов, в
Behind
принципе,
the
рискнуть.
dock,
Да, да,
you
да,
see
да.
2, maybe 3. There's a yellow ribbon tied to one of the branches, light yellow, faded with time. A tiny splash of color in the blackness of the thicket, hanging from it, a bronze key.
Мужики, подойдите немножко, дайте пройти.
Someone hid the key in the bush and attached a yellow ribbon to make it easier to find. It's close enough to the latch up there. One can slide it open and just take it. Surely not a coincidence.
Курага, смотри. А почему ты-то? Я Курага, я хотел обратиться. Громила оглядывается. Так, я
I don't know about that. I'm comfortable here. Don't think any sliding would really help right now.
Да, я так, немножко.
Sorry, fucko. Looks like you're gonna have to go bush diving. Good fucking luck with that. The Hawthorne's got a bitch of a bite.
I'm gonna enjoy the sight of you in the bushes out there.
With a loud thud, the old man stands up, pushes the window open, grabs the key from the hawthorn branch, and slides it across the table to you. The key is brass. Workshop spare is etched to its bow. The old man closes the window and sits back down in silence.
Какой адекватный человек.
Come on, man. We were just having some fun. Where's the harm in?
I'm tired of listening to your shit.
О! Как же я его понимаю. Так, ты не знаешь? Спасибо.
Don't thank me. I don't give 2 shits about your key.
Да, понятное дело, но все равно. Так, кто не знает?
Didn't even know it was there. Boys.
Boys.
No idea.
Never even seen it. Someone must have hidden it there before this room became our place.
It could open the door in the kitchen. The blue door. It says workshop spare. Maybe there's a workshop there?
Или на крыше, или та дверь, которая у меня в ванной.
It's worth a try.
Почему нет? Да? С тобой, Тит, мы еще разберемся попозже. Так, бабуль, все сидишь? Скучаешь?
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
Ким, ты же не против, если я спрашиваю о криптидах?
You know, to hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Of course, officers. Is there a particular cryptid you two are interested in learning about?
Какой самый
That
большой?
would be the giant of Kokonur. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren wastes.
Какие-то ужасные монстры проживают в Самаре. Я всегда знал, что что-то не то. Он
The
опасен.
towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana, others, fate unimaginable. No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision.
Who are you? No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
That's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Kokonur must be the largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur desert might allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes.
Great. This is great shit. You need more.
Супер, просто забись, надо еще. А какой самый опасный?
The gnome of Jeroma.
И вся? Так, звучит не слишком
Oh,
страшно.
it is. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue.
Это этот alien.
It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and a gangly little thing. Quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Alas. Always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
Как удобно сложилось.
I understand your skepticism, but that's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, and they are least likely to be found again.
Так, бывают невидимые
What an
какие-то.
interesting question. And the answer is yes, there are.
Of course. All fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them.
Так,
Okay,
Ребята, ну, знать
I won't
надо.
spoil your fun. What is the invisible cryptid?
It's the Col de Mama Dakwa. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible. The Col de Mama is very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track.
И как он звучит?
Like nothing, it's such a high-pitched sound that us humans can't hear it, nor can other animals. It could be ringing right outside your window and you wouldn't even know it. Could be...
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. But there's no evidence to support this theory.
Он может быть здесь, прямо сейчас.
It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights.
Какие есть из того, что это животное состоит из звука?
Plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 1920s, a group of Areopagite ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds.
Певчих
The
птиц.
scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest-pitched bat calls. They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Col de Mama Dakwa, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which they
Продолжайте.
grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and even began to name some of them.
Имена?
Sequester, Time, Joscan. Those are but some of the Mamadakwa they followed individually.
Почему же мама Даква так боится?
That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction.
Типичные студенты.
They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mamadakwas. And what happens when a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency, dear?
Они гасят друг друга?
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population.
Идиоты.
After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Mamadakwa population anywhere.
Of course. A common thread in these. Disappearance and unfalsifiability. I like the story, though, man.
I'm glad you did, dear.
Интересное кино.
What about what?
Так. Ох, и не насыти меня до этих криптидов.
I'm glad you like them, but I'm not really one to tell you about all of them. You should ask my husband if you get the chance. He's the real expert.
Так. Ну что, Ким, пошли, попробуем потолкать эту дверь. Шеф.
You see, it could be connected to the barred door
Главное,
upstairs.
чтобы сейчас этот ключ не
The key
сломался.
fits the dimple lock. It takes a bit of effort to turn it after all these years, but then the lock clicks. Dust rises before you like mist. A tomb? Haunted by regal spirits from distant ages.
Да, не,
No.
бред какой-то.
Smells like engine grease and cut wood. A workshop.
Крутяк. И что это такое? А, можно выйти куда-то. А можно надпись на автомате для пинбола. Франко-нигерийский нарисованный. Понятно. Что ничего не понятно. 5 рублей. Местных. Мой запасной ключ привязан к кусту за окном угловой комнаты. Ну, это мы уже нашли. Ну, за ним панель изображена скрывающая женщина. Ну, что-то как-то здесь пусто, я так думаю.
All these mesmerizing machines, just waiting to be plugged back in and played. Feels like it might jump back to life any moment, the lights illuminating the white-robed woman.
Что такое белая Диора?
Some kind of inane pinball theme, probably related to Messina during the DeLorean age. The history themes are the worst.
The lieutenant grimaces, looking at the machines.
Так, не хочешь расфурить какой-нибудь автомат?
You can't fire them up. They are broken. Only that one machine in the main hall works. The Royalist Pinball.
What a dumb name. Royalist Pinball. If they weren't broken, he would kick one of these machines about now.
Ты, кажется,
No,
недолюбливаешь.
I love it. I love pinball. Who doesn't love pinball? Let's move on.
He doesn't.
А как насчет вот этого?
No.
Так. Ну, это красная проверка, между прочим. То есть я не смогу ее еще раз сыграть. Ну ладно.
Kim, Pinball, Kitsuragi.
Кимбола.
Exactly. That's what he's known as. His reputation precedes him.
Ты Ким Пинбол
So
Китсураги?
now he remembers.
К нему возвращается память. О, чудо!
Fine, I'm Kim Pinball Kitsuragi, aka the Kimball. You remembered. Congratulations.
Но не похоже, что ты любишь
No
его.
human being should. It is a game that requires no skill and a childlike affinity to flashing lights and to fantastique. science-fiction, and historic romance franchise.
Понятно.
It is lame.
Да, почему тебя назвали им?
I am not called Pinball. It was used to taunt me a long time ago, before I became a homicide detective and got my lieutenancy.
Как ты? Чё?
Fine. I was a juvenile police officer for over 15 years. It's how I started out in the RCM. Once I had to infiltrate a pinball ring, as you do when you're a juvie cop.
Отстойненько.
Unbelievably. To do that, I needed to become a pinball champion. I trained for 9 months. The job was successful, and I was moved out of the juvenile wing to homicide.
Бедолага.
End of story.
15 лет работал с малолетними преступниками?
That time is over now. I was already a 38-year-old man. It was unbecoming, as was playing pinball.
Так. Вот почему ты не стал разговаривать с Куна.
It's best if you handle the juvenile delinquents.
Понятно. Не волнуйся, не буду называть тебя... Я буду называть тебя Кимо.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is good too. Now, we really need to continue our sweep of what appears to be a secret path.
Ладно. Не хотел давить, но ладно, все равно прикольно.
This small elevator is dimly lit by a bulb that's been glowing for ages. The latticed cage is open, inviting you to step inside.
Заглянуть?
Smells of nougat and sweat. Your head brushes up against the ceiling. There is a control panel to your right, and just enough room for 2 people to fit in.
Отлично.
The maintenance card under the control panel reads, Last maintenance, 10th July, 88.
Так, закрыть двери и ехать? Нет. Зачем нужен был этот лифт?
Seems like a small freight elevator for transporting machinery. For that, it's pretty quaint.
Тут пишет, что последний раз лифт чинили в 88-м.
That it does. I say, let's brave it.
Давненько этот лифт последний раз
At the end of the last century. Look on the bright side. If it fails, we will only sustain minor injuries. I'm talking 3, maybe 4 months in the hospital. Maximum 5.
Оптимистично.
There are large rectangular buttons, monter, descente, and an international call for emergency assistance. That third one appears to be broken.
Терять там нечего. Ух ты. Это мы где? Это мы наверху или это мы наоборот внизу? Мои кошки наглухо заклеены черной лентой, в них ничего не видно. В полках стоят ящики с инструментами, с запасными деталями. Кишки. Схема автомата для пинбола в туристичной тематике. Ким, только не злись, я тебя умоляю. Что это? Эмпатия и координация. Плащ пинбольщика. Ох, меня побьет сейчас. Курага. Что это? Кто-то разобрал этот автомат для пинбола и вытащил всю начинку.
So this is where they brought 40 pinball machines to fix them up. A long time ago. Everything is covered with dust now. The lieutenant looks around the dusty, crowded room, inspecting the tools on the shelf.
Looks like it. I'm guessing Martinez North 22 used to be a pinball arcade before it became a hostel. There are machines left over.
Yeah.
A creak. Some dust falls off a shelf.
Downstairs in the hall, next to the main door. One of them even works. I've seen one of the artists bang away at it.
Так, видимо, в какой-то момент их перестали ремонтировать.
At some point, 20 years ago, 15 maybe, before pinball went out of vogue.
Ну и ладно. Так, что это такое? Чьи-то носки.
You clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of dust covering the workshop floor.
Нет, это следы.
Jackpot. These, unlike everything else here, are new.
Так, здесь кто-то побывал неделю или две назад.
3 weeks maximum, from the dust coverage. It could easily have been 1 week too. You know, officer.
Ты думаешь, что там же, что и я, что это кто-то из чуваков Харди?
This is so good it makes him forget the whole Kimball memory.
This isn't bad at all. It was a good idea to see where that door leads. Commendable work bringing us to this place.
Такс. Ладно. Что же
It
это
means
значит
someone
для нас?
snuck through what seemed like a secret route, behind Classius' room, in the recent weeks. This may prove to be significant.
Изучим.
Large prints, most likely made by boots. The size is hard to determine. Sole could be bigger than vamp. The soles have left the pattern, uniform, horizontal lines.
Дальше.
Shoe size is 41 to 42, maybe 43. It could be a large-footed woman or a small to average-footed man. This is, unfortunately, the worst, most vague shoe size there is.
Не очень похоже на следы рабочих ботинок, которые мы видели рядом с прошлым,
No,
да?
these little horizontal lines are different. They look custom-made to me. Or some kind of foreign print. Hard to say. Still a boot, though.
Водитель-расист говорил про заказанные ботинки.
The size looks about the same, actually. They are not the same shoe, but they could be the same person.
Everything around you is quiet. The prints crisscross the workshop floor.
Идем дальше. Что это у нас тут такое? Какой-то щиток. Здесь крошечное отверстие, сквозь него видно спальню, которая находится за стеной.
You can almost see the shape of a man and a woman writhing inside, bathed in drug sweat and dirty linens. Bottles lie around everywhere. You lean closer to the peephole instinctively. I bet they're doing something quite unnatural there. Sensationally unnatural.
По-моему, я вижу отсюда спальню классика.
You can barely see through. Better not to jump to sensationalist conclusions here. The footprints on the floor, however, definitely suspicious.
Кто-то подглядывал?
Boring footprints. I want to jump to sensationalist conclusions.
Электрохимия. Такс. Что у нас по очкам навыков? Я бы мог... Знаете, я думаю, надо вкачать энциклопедию. Да. Такс, одежка. Одежка. Электрохимию добавляет. Полицейская волна. Ну, у меня и так есть полицейская волна, плюс еще и трепет это мне добавляет. Мой плащ. Такс. А это добавляет эмпатию и координацию. Да, вообще-то... Мне не то, что все что надо, но... Классный плащ. Мне все-таки этот больше нравится, но... Такс. А тут что? Сейчас вылезем, классиян такая... Что вы здесь делаете?
This is the inside of the barred door you've seen before.
Unless we've veered off into a folded M dimension, I'm expecting to step out on the roof. We could ask Class about this route. See how she...
Yes,
Да.
it is quite likely that we will re-emerge on the M plane. Brace for psychokinetic impact. Or the roof.